This is Cheyenne Valentine back today again with a new episode. Excuse me if you hear any noise in the background. I'm outside. So anywho, today's episode I want to talk about Lee Daniels and the Dame Dash thing. I know a lot of people have talked about this, but basically after listening to different videos and listen to Dame Dash talk about his side of the story, listen to Lee Daniels, I came with this conclusion, which everybody else probably came to the same conclusion. But the moment I heard about this incident, the first thought that came to my head is that Lee Daniels had no intentions of paying Dame Dash back his money. Okay, anybody can see this. He had no intentions of paying him back the money. You might say that's obvious, but I think people don't understand now. Granted, I have never met Lee Daniels, Dame Dash, anybody like that, but you can kind of draw a conclusion from a person's actions and how they treat other people. And the moment I seen that confrontation, a moment, heard Dame Dash talk about how it transpired. Basically, I think he gave Lee Daniels some money for some movie, Woodland, or I don't know what it was called, and then he made the movie, and then he's supposed to he had the money to give him back, but he said, well, I want to take instead of giving you the money, I want to keep it and reinvest in this other movie. And Dame Dash was skeptical, but he said, go on and do it, and then pay me back 2 months later. And then he said the dude, he didn't hear from him anymore. When he would talk to him, his Lee Daniels' assistant, to be rude to him and all that. They've been in litigations. You guys probably know the backstory. But I just want to say, on the record, that Lee Daniels had no intentions of paying back Dame Dash. How can I prove this? How can I prove? Well, first of all, he hasn't paid. He didn't pay him. In the 10 years, and this man had to take him to court. But not only that, when he confronted him, Lee Daniels still was trying to get out of it. He was saying things like, let's exchange phone numbers. And actually, Dame Dash said, because someone asked him in an interview what happened after that, after the confrontation. If you guys don't know, Diana Ross was doing a performance, and Lee Daniels was there, and Dame Dash showed up on him, confronting him about his money, and he had someone filming it. So everybody probably knows about that. So the first thing I thought was, after that, and Dame Dash said the lawyers talked and all this other crap. And I remember even before Dame Dash did an interview discussing the incident, Lee Daniels talked about in an interview saying he's going to give him his money, and I knew right then this man had no intention of giving him his money, because even after that confrontation, why did he keep talking about he's going to give him the money? Future tense. Let's talk about present tense. Just give him the goddamn money. Give the man his fucking money. Excuse my language, but give the man his fucking money. Like, that's how I know he had no intentions of it, because if he looked when Dame Dash confronted Lee Daniels looked, he looked ashamed. He looked embarrassed, because for Lee Daniels, he's one of those kind of people, from what I can see, is that it's all about status and him thinking he's all that, and he want to make it seem like he's gotten to where he's gotten to where he's at without any help. He's one of those kind of people. He want to front. He want to act like he just popped out the sky and was this millionaire and was making these movies, and that's just how he get down. He want to act like nobody helps him get to where he's at. He's one of those kind of people. So was he scared? I think he was, but I think he was more so embarrassed and scared. He was shocked and embarrassed. He thought it was never going to come back to haunt him, because he had no intentions of paying this man back his money. And I remember Dame Dash said, what made him think that he didn't have to pay him back his money, because he's like Don King, and I'm gonna get into that in a second. I think Lee Daniels had the same personality type as Don King, and these type of personality types are not like you and I. They're not normal, and I'm gonna discuss that in a minute. But before I get to that, he had no intentions of paying him back the money, because Lee Daniels, after the incident, did an interview saying Dame Dash, he deserves his money. I owe him this money. I'm going to give him his money. If you have the money, why you keep talking about what you're going to do? Just do it. Write the man a check for $2 million. And Dame Dash said this man was still trying to con him, almost want him to work off the money that he owed. So Lee Daniels owes him $2 million, but it's almost like Dame Dash said that Lee Daniels want Dame Dash almost work the money off and put him on another project. He said, just give me my goddamn money. Okay, and so what's all the talking for, Lee Daniels? Just write the man a $2 million check. Or, I mean, what is all this talking about? What is all this, what you gonna do? Shoulda, coulda, woulda, and what you finna do, and what he deserves. Give him his money now. That's how I knew that he had no intentions of giving this man's money, because he still ain't gave it to him. Well, what is all this talking about? You saying I'm gonna give it to him? I'm gonna get. That's what you told him 10 years ago. Why? That's how I knew he had no intentions of giving this man his money. That's why now he keeps stalling. He's stalling everybody. Now he's talking about, oh, what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna just do it. He had no intentions. Now you might say, why he had no intentions? Okay, let's get into this. He had no intentions because I don't know if he's a narcissist or sociopath. I'm not quite sure what label, or he could just be a money hungry bastard. But he has a personality type like Don King. And the moment I heard about this incident, I said he's just like Don King. I watched a couple documentaries about Don King and how he used to mistreat his boxers, because he was a promoter. And I looked at the documentary, and basically with Don King, he was all about money. He was greedy. So someone who's extremely greedy like that, they think of ways to get as much money out the transaction as possible. But of course, in any money transaction, you need people, right? So the way a person's mind works like Don King, and I think this is how Lee Daniels works too, their mind work is if, okay, I'm gonna try to get as much money out of this situation, and in order to do that, I have to cut people out of what I owe them. I gotta give everybody else as little as possible, and I gotta get as much as possible. So I just want to give you one quick example about Don King. So when he was promoting boxers, one thing he did was he was promoting the boxer. He had this guy sign a contract saying that Don King gets a certain percentage of his money because he's a promoter, and that the guy's manager is supposed to get a certain percentage of the money. But some kind of way Don King made him sign a contract saying that he would pick his manager for him. Something like that happened. Don King picked the manager for him. And remember, when the boxer signed the contract said he gives a certain percentage of the money to Don King, and he gives a certain percentage of the money to the manager. Now, guess who his manager was? That Don King appointed him, or however that went. His manager was Don King's stepson. So whenever the boxer would ask his manager questions, the stepson said, oh, let me ask his dad. So basically Don King was getting most of this man's money. Then nothing that he did, he ripped the dude off, gave the dude a very little amount of money. The dude was unmotivated, and he fought another boxer. What Don King did, he promoted, he was promoting that boxer, and then the guy that he was promoting. Okay, so Don King was promoting a guy. Let's say the guy he's promoting was named John. John was fighting Rick. So Don King had his stepson be the manager of John and Rick. So that way Don King got some money either way, because remind you, Don King is getting a cut of his stepson. He made his stepson the boxer's managers, and then therefore the money's getting funneled back to him. So, and that was illegal for boxers that are fighting each other. So it's illegal for them to have the same manager, from my understanding. So I'm bringing this up because Don King, one way that he was able to get Mike Tyson and all these other black boxers on his side and to convince them that he should be their promoter, he used this thing about being black. Oh, I'm a black guy. These white men don't have your best interests at heart. You should go with me. I'm gonna get you most money, and I got your best interests at heart because I'm black like you. He played upon that, their weakness of a brotherhood with another black guy. And that's the same thing Dame Dash said Lee Daniels did to him. He said the reason why he invested the $2 million in Lee Daniels' project is because Lee Daniels said, no one give me a shot. They won't lend me none of these white people lend me any money. They won't help me out because I'm a black guy. You understand, you're an entrepreneur. Nobody helped you out because you was a black guy. You know what I'm going through. I know that you like to support up and coming black entrepreneurs and help me out. You know what I'm going through. And so, like Dame Dad said, Lee Daniels used that black thing. And so what I'm saying is Lee Daniels had no intention of paying back his money, because Lee Daniels is like Don King. They are, like I said, they might be, I guess they're narcissists, but I I know they're money hungry. And when you're money hungry, you're always thinking of ways of how to get the most money as possible. And people are disposable to you. Like someone said about Don King, the things that he would do and how he would use people to do what he wanted them to do for a particular task, and he'd discard them and want nothing to do with them. That's how I feel Lee Daniels is. Because mind you, Dame Dash said that Lee Daniels was cool with Oprah and Tyler Perry. Why did they not loan him, invest $2 million in his project? Because like Dame Dash said, they knew he wasn't going to pay them back, but he didn't know. Nobody told him. Lee Daniels also made a statement and said that Dame Dash was crazy enough to loan him the money, or crazy enough to invest in him. And that was a backhanded comment, a backhanded compliment, because Lee Daniels, once again, is a money hungry, I think, narcissist. And with these kind of people, they want to see if you're stupid enough to help them, basically. If you're stupid enough to help them, because see, Lee Daniels, a lot of people closed doors in his face. I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't want to give him a shot. And you might say, well, the one person that did, or people that did, why don't he just treat them right? Why don't he pay him back his money? Because that's not how his mind works. His mind is all about self-ego. It's all about him getting as much money and praise as he can, and he doesn't care who he has to step on, who he has to get over on to do that. So once again, when you're dealing with a greedy, money hungry person, think about it like this: every thing that they do pertaining to money, which is the number one thing they're thinking about. And even though this man is great at making movies and doing plays, whatever the hell he does, yes, he's very talented in that area. He's very talented, but he's also money hungry. And I think he's a narcissist. So it's like, it's interesting. He has this one talent, but he's still money hungry. So like, for example, when he mentioned Monique and they asked him why then things work out with her, and he said Monique didn't know how to play the game. Now, what game is he referring to? Why does there need to be a game, Lee Daniels? Why can't you, what game was she trying to play? If she's a comedian or actress or whatever she's doing, let her do her thing. Why are games being played? Because he gets off to that. See, he knows how to play the douchebag, use you up and discard you game to get whatever he can. So he's the kind of person, let's say he cons you out of some money, he's going to convince you to not, he's going to do whatever it takes to not give you back that money. So he's going to talk you out of some kind of way. Or like, Don King used to do, what he used to do when he would con these boxes out of their money, when they would try to take him to court or ask for it back, he would get his goons to go try to beat him up to stop them from wanting the money back, even though this man know he conned them out of their money. So that is how Lee Daniels don't have any goons. So with Lee Daniels, he does things like blackballing people, with the Monique thing, he'll blackball you or try to blackball you, or he'll just try to convince you, he won't get gutter with you. What he'll do is say, well, I'm gonna give you your money, don't worry. He talks you down. I'm gonna give you your money, but let's go in there. He's a con artist in a sense. Like I said, he's very smart and brilliant in one way as far as his movies or or whatever. But yes, he's talented in that area, but he's also, like I said, a narcissist, and I think he's a narcissist. I'm not quite sure, but I know he's a money hungry bastard. And with those kind of people, like I said, they have no intentions of getting you back your money. And what they do is, if they con you out your money, they're going to, like him, either pay some goons to get you to be quiet and stop asking for your money back, or in his case, he's going to talk you down and say, well, I'll put you on another project, or I do this or I do that, instead of just giving you your fucking money. And so the moment I heard about him and what he did, I said, he reminds me so much of Don King. He's not as he has a different method than Don King. Don King and let's say Suge Knight, they all are the same kind of people. I mean, Don King, Suge Knight, and Lee Daniels. Now, I mean, they're obviously, Suge Knight is more extreme because he murdered people. I think he got people killed and shit. But there's different levels to this. The money hungry, want to be in control, narcissist type personality. Lee Daniels might not be the worstest in Hollywood with this, but Lee Daniels is the type of person, he wants to stomp with the big dogs. And so if he has to take someone who he knew that Dame Dash had a soft heart, and he felt he could play him, and he knew he was quote unquote stupid enough. He said this out of his own mouth. He said Dame Dash was stupid enough to give him the money. So this man gave you the money, took a chance on you when nobody else did, and you say, you know, he tried to make it sound like, oh, he was silly enough to give me the money and I appreciate it. That really was a backhanded insult to Dame Dash, saying Dame Dash over that. You know, with a person like Lee Daniels, this is how his mind works. His mind works, well, if you're stupid enough to give me the money, that's on you. That's how he is. He's gonna do and say whatever it takes to get what he needs to get to his end result. And so the difference between like Lee Daniels and Don King and you and I, the reason why those kind of people end up with becoming millionaires and billionaires and have a lot of money, because they are not prideful. Okay, like you and I. So what I mean by prideful? Prideful people don't like to ask for help. They don't like to grovel and say, oh, I need your help. Please take a chance on me. Because most normal people don't want someone going around telling people that they loaned them money or telling people that they helped them. Because a lot of, you know how people are. If you go ask them for help or whatever and you're not cool with them no more, they're going to go behind your back. And even if you are cool with them, they're going to go behind your back and tell everybody that you needed their help or they've been loaning you money. People do that shit all the time. So most people don't want people to do that to them. So they struggle on their own. A lot of times they don't make it because you're gonna need somebody's help, right? Well, people like Lee Daniels and Don King, they're not prideful. It's all about the end result for them. So whatever it takes to get to the end result, they're gonna do it. They're not too proud to ask for your help. I remember when they was talking about Don King in the documentary, he didn't mind asking for help because he have each person do one particular thing and he'll say whatever it takes to get you to do that, and then he'll thank you afterwards, and then he'll discard you and don't ever call his ass again. He has no use for you. He used you for a particular task and then he's done. But see, most people get off to being asked for help, believe it or not. Most people, it makes them feel good when someone needs their help. Either it makes them feel good, or it makes them feel good that you ask for their help, or they get off to saying, or they get off to almost like, you need me. You're like a charity case. You need my help. You understand? That's how most normal people think. And see, these narcissist / money hungry people, they know how to play upon that. They will say and do whatever it takes to get to, because their pleasure is with the end result. You and I pleasure is basically, oh, well, I did it, I did it on my own, or, I didn't have to ask for help. And you probably not going to get very far either, because you can't do anything all by yourself on the island by your damn self. You're going to need people's help. And most people want to make it seem like they don't need nobody's help and they can do it all on their own. And that's not how this goes. So their pride stops them from asking for help. Their pride stops them from groveling if they need to. Because most people get off to when you grovel to them. Most people get off to when you ask for their help. It makes them feel powerful. But see, with these type of money hungry / narcissists like Lee Daniels and Don King, I think they're in the same category. They don't get off to that. They get off to getting the money. And so they gotta grovel and sell you a sob story and cry. I know a woman who did her friend like that. She cried. She got put out of her apartment multiple times. And she needed her friend to co-sign for her, and she cried. She had 2 kids. She told her friend, oh my God, I need you to co-sign this apartment, please. She co-signed it for her. She got kicked out of that one. She cried to her again. She said, can I please move in with you? I don't have a place for me and my kids to go. Do you know this woman lived with her? Her friend even let her have, it was a 2-bedroom apartment. She let her friend actually sleep in her room while she slept on the floor. Do you know this woman was getting an unemployment check and was not giving her any money towards the rent? She was getting money and would not give her any money towards the rent. So my friend, she seen that her the con artist had got a check in the mail and for unemployment. She took it and she tore it up. And she did that because, she helped this one multiple times, and you're not even going to give her no money on the rent, and you're staying in her apartment in her bedroom while she's sleeping on the floor. So that's what I'm saying. People are users. They're users and abusers. Okay, so with the narcissist / money hungry, greedy individuals, they're not too proud to cry and beg, and they're going to give you a sob story. They're not bitter that people didn't help them, because they're like those people. They don't like to help nobody either. They know how those people function because that's how they are. You think Lee Daniels was mad at Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey for not helping him? He didn't give a fuck. He just figured, okay, y'all, he knows if he was in a position that he wouldn't help him either. Just like he figured he had to go to somebody who, put it like this, if he was in a position of Oprah and Tyler Perry, he would not have helped him either, because he knows how these individuals think, because that's how he thinks. Okay, so he knows the game that they're playing. He thinks like a certain type of person who's all about that paper. And people that's all about that paper, in every transaction they encounter, even if it's 10 people involved in that transaction, they're trying to see how they can get the biggest cut of the money and cut everybody else out of it. That is how they do it. They talked about Don King, how a man that he was friends with told him to get into promoting boxers, and how he cut that man out of every transaction and not give him credit or no money toward. Once he made it, didn't give him nothing. They give him shit. That's how they do. They use people to get to a certain point, and then they cut people off. It's almost like they climbing up a ladder, and then they burn, it's almost like they climb up a ladder, and in each step they go up, they kick the step to where nobody can climb up and use that step after them. That's just kind of how they do it. Okay, so I didn't want to make this video too long, but I just want people to understand that Lee Daniels had no intentions of paying that man back his money because Lee Daniels is not like you and I. He don't, and those kind of people, usually they do end up becoming millionaires, because they're not about, see, the normal person would have, had the man invest in his project, got the $2 million, and just gave the man back his money. And you might say, why is that so hard? It's so hard for him because he's money hungry. And when a money hungry person, it's all about taking and not giving back. It's all about getting the most money from people as possible and giving them as little as possible, because it's all about them hoarding all the money, getting all the money from every transaction. You gotta understand this kind of mindset. And like I said, you might say, well, if he's so egotistical and it's all about him and he would make it sound like he's all that, how could he bring himself to beg this man for the money in the first place? Because he's going to do what the rest of us won't do. The rest of us are not going to beg somebody a lot of times because of our pride, or give somebody a sob story. Okay, look at the people that you see that stand outside of like the subways or the gas stations and beg for money, or who on the train and ask for money. Grown individuals, or people who stand at the red lights and had a sign up saying need food, and give you a sob story. Now you and I say, I could never bring myself to that. I'll just get me a job. I could never bring myself to beg another person for something. I could never be out there like that. See, that's what, and you probably couldn't, but that pride of yours right there, and that pride that I have the same pride you have. That's what's going to stop us from, not stop us from getting to the top, but people that are willing to do trifling things, because some of those people that be begging for money don't even, can work. They'll just rather act like they're poor and don't have anything to run a con. A lot of times they're con artists. So with con artists, they don't mind doing what the normal person wouldn't do. That's how they get an edge up, because they do things that people, so for example, they know the average person is not going to stand out here. Able-bodied person is going to stand out and beg for money because they probably won't let them do it. They just rather get a job. They wouldn't want someone to see them out there bad like that. So they assume that if a person has lowered themselves to being out there holding a sign saying I need food, or standing outside a gas station asking for money, and they're a grown individual, that they must really be homeless to do that. That's how you and I think. But in actuality, they could not be homeless at all. I actually seen somebody in a parking lot of a grocery store begging for money, saying they was homeless, and then later on got into like a nice ass car later on and drove off. Like after they walked around looking raggedy begging for money, they parked their car further down and they got into this really nice car and drove off. Okay, so you gotta understand the mentality. They do the opposite of what the normal person would do, and that's how they end up getting those kind of results. It's not okay what they're doing. I'm just saying those kind of people are not like normal people. So they know if they go out and beg for money, people assume they're really homeless, because most people say, well, I would never lower myself to that if I really wasn't homeless. And they know that. So they play upon your emotions. They play upon the way they know how most people think. They think the opposite. You understand? It was this guy and who worked at his job, worked at my ex's job, and they used to have meetings, I think, at 9 a.m. every day. And he announced at the meeting that his son had cancer, and that if anybody could donate any money to help him. I think he even cried. This man's son did not even have cancer, everybody. He lied and told 100 people that his son had cancer and if they could donate to the charity or to the hospital where he was at. And they did some investigation on him, and he lied. He also they didn't know he had got arrested, and they found the article where he had went into the lady's house and dressed as a police officer and stole her TV. He knocked on the door, had on a police uniform. Where he got it from, I don't know, and went in her home and stole her TV. He did some. So you gotta understand something about this kind of people like this. They are deceitful, they're evil, and it's all about them and the end result. They're not too proud to ask for help or to lie about something very serious and sinister. They're not too proud to do that because they know you and I are too proud to do that. So they play upon that, and they know if they was to do that, people would think they really needed help, because who would sit there and lie and say their son had cancer if their son didn't have cancer? You see what I'm saying? But they would. So they prey upon your weakness. They play upon your sympathy because they have none. And then they use that and they can do that because their end result is the money. Their end result is the money. So they're willing to do and say whatever it takes to get to that money. So you getting the satisfaction of giving them the money or giving them the satisfaction of feeling like they groveled for your help, that don't mean shit to them. Because in the end, they gonna get your money, they gonna get what they want in the end. So like I said, Lee Daniels is one of these kind of people, and he had no intentions of giving Dame Dash his money, and the proof is he still ain't gave it to him.